Video 49, new number, electric scooters, new law. Electric scooters, new law. It's the 12th of December 2022. Hard frost in Ireland. Most people I meet say it's good, hardy, healthy weather. That all depends if you have a bit of heating inside. Some people seem to tell me that they could lie out at the back of a ditch. Well, I wouldn't, I tell you that. I'm glad to have a bit of heat. Now we're going to go through a new law that's been brought out on these electric scooters. And you know what they are, the little scooters you see there on the street with young lads and things using them, and other people too. So we'll just pause a minute now. Now the new bill, which is not law yet but probably will be, is the Road Traffic Amendment Electric Scooter Trials Bill 2021. I note the word trials in it, which is a strange thing, but anyway, we'll just give it a brief look. And it defines the Department as the Department of Transport. It defines an electric scooter means a device with no more than 25 centimeters or smaller diameter wheels. 25 centimeter diameter wheels that has handlebars designed to be stood on by the operator and is powered by electric motor and is capable of propelling the device with or without human propulsion at a speed of no more than 35 kilometers per hour on a paved level surface. So we're going to have a wee look at that now a second. So 25 centimeters is that length there. See the length of that? 25 centimeters. It's 9 3/4 inches. 9 3/4 inches. It's smaller than a sheet of paper. So that's the first thing, okay? Now it has to have handlebars, and it has to be capable of going no more than 35 kilometers per hour. So it can't be capable of going any more than 21.8, I make it here, miles per hour. So converted into inches. The wheels on this device have to be no more than 9 3/4 inches, and the speed it can go can't be more than 21.8 miles an hour. So that means it has to be incapable of going any faster than that, okay? Doesn't mean it can go at that speed. So the definition of a public place is the same as for all transport and a public street, road or other place which the public have access, whether by right or by permission, whether subject to or free of charge. Now the electric scooter trials, now this is about trials and all this stuff. I don't think it's very important. The minister may make regulations about trials and all that thing. Basically I'm here just to tell you what the law is going to be. That's his business. Now there's a roads authority local authority have a role to play in these trials. Upon the passing of this act, the minister shall publish guidance for local authorities to apply to participate in electric scooter trials for electric scooter rental schemes, setting out the time frame. Yeah, he wants a kind of a trial thing, which I have no problem with as part of the proper assessment. Now, actually, there should be a strategic environmental assessment for transport. It's on the SEA directive. Of course, in Ireland, that's thrown out the window. I don't get involved in that. I have enough to do with the energy racket. Now, each local authority shall decide whether they wish to apply, and individual local authorities shall determine in consultation with the department the number of electric scooters to be provided for the trial. This is really, they get the money to buy them and try them out and all that. Maybe they employ young lads doing it, that'd be all right, or young lassies, that's all right with me. Safety standards for electric scooters. So they may make guidelines about the safety standards. So safe operation and time electric scooter trials. That's all about the trials and all that. So they have things about what has to be on it, reflectors and tires and all that. Now, I wouldn't take much heed of that. But the next thing here is prohibition on removal of speed limiting devices. All electric scooters shall be required to bear a speed limiting device which limits the scooter to speeds of 25 kilometers per hour. Now, bear in mind, the original, the speed it can go is 35. This is 25. Now, folks, the limiting device has to limit the speed to 15.625 miles per hour or 25 kilometers per hour. Okay, so just remember the device itself cannot be capable of going above 35 kilometers per hour, which is 21 point something miles. But there has to be a limiting device to keep the speed down to 15.6 miles an hour or 25 kilometers per hour. You understand? It cannot be capable of going more than 35 kilometers per hour, but there has to be a limiting device to keep it below 25 kilometers per hour. So I won't confuse you with miles, right? Kilometers. 35 top speed. It can be possible for it to go. It can never go that speed legally. Has to be reduced to 21 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, so it's all about electric scooter trials and all that sort of stuff. We'll skip that. So now, it shall be an offence for a person to remove or tamper with the speed limitation device of an electric scooter. So once it's set up for 25 kilometers an hour, it's an offence to take it out, and a person found guilty of an offence under that section shall be liable on summary conviction, that's in the district court, to a Class D fine, and summary conviction for a second or subsequent offence to a Class C fine, right? Okay, it's a fine. There's no, I don't know what, we'll not go into that for the minute. Now, speed limit for electric scooter users. It shall be an offence for a person using an electric scooter to exceed a speed limit of 25 kilometers an hour. A person found guilty shall be liable to a Class D fine, and for a second or subsequent to a Class C fine. Driving without reasonable consideration. A person shall not drive a vehicle in a public place without reasonable consideration for other users using the place. I notice it doesn't say an electric scooter. This is any vehicle. Well, this was already the law under the 1961 Road Traffic Act, and I do not agree with duplicate law. If it's already an offence to drive a car, a big car, without reasonable consideration for other road users, it shouldn't be made a second offence. That is bad law. They should have it. A person shall not drive an electric scooter in a public place. Otherwise, you have two separate laws, and the person in a car who commits an offence can be tried on the double, and that's double jeopardy. That's bad law. A person who convenes that commits an offence, and the penalties then are there again, a Class D and a Class C fine. In implementation and oversight of electric vehicle scooter trials. Again, I'm not going into this. Do what they like with the trials. Go on, doesn't bother me. Short title and commencement of procedures. And that's basically it, folks. One of the things I would have liked to see in that bill, and there was public consultation, but because the government forces me to spend all my time doing my submissions to public consultations on energy and the environment, and it's so time consuming helping groups, I don't have the time to put in submissions on everything. But one of the areas I'd have it is going close to shop doors. A person steps out of a shop or out of a house, and immediately a fella's come by, even at 15 miles an hour on a scooter, he could hit them. There should be a certain distance the scooter has to stay out from doors and buildings. So if I'd have them at least 1.5 meters. If the footpath is very narrow, well then I'd make them get off it and push it. I wouldn't let them ride it. And there is a defect in that bill, I would say straight away. Because, right, consider yourself in your own house along the street. You open the door and you walk out, and this fella's just coming by, bang. I'd have it that they cannot do that, that they have to get off if there's not place, otherwise they have to keep out on the footpath. Okay, that's a comment. Now I've given you a rough idea what it is. That to be an electric scooter, to come under this legislation, the wheels have to be under what I say there, 9.6 or something inches anyway, whatever it is, and there's nothing about the overall length of the scooter. Funny enough, there's nothing about the overall length of it. Yeah, the with no more than means a scooter with no more than 25 centimeter or smaller diameter wheels. So the wheels have to be under 25 centimeters. We keep it simple. The wheels have to be under 25 centimeters. And it can't be capable of going more than 35 kilometers per hour. And it must have a speed limiting device to keep it below 25 kilometers per hour. And it's an offence then to break the rules on that. There's nothing about its proximity to shop doors, which I would have. Now remember, this, under the law, a mechanically propelled vehicle needs tax, insurance and driving licence. But there's no definition of these in the Roads Act or the Road Traffic Act, so they have to make new law. I don't have a problem. I'm not giving out about any of this. I'm just bringing it to your attention. There's no insurance needed, you see, because the problem is, like a child of Santa Claus gets a electric tractor or something, are you going to make everything that's mechanically propelled need insurance? I mean, a kid driving around the street is not really doing you any harm, or even all that. Now it comes into play then, this would seem to make ordinary bicycles with electric motors in them needing insurance, tax and insurance. I'm not going to go there. I won't give advice on that. I'm just saying that for these little scooters with the wheels about this size, they need to comply with the speed limiting device. They're little scooters, you can't sit up on them. And I think I've given you all that. I've made my suggestion that if they want to amend it, or if anyone writes to them, to their TD or politician, just that there should be some rule about how close to go to a shop door or to a door off a street, etc. Not to have them just glancing by down along a street and there's a shop or a doorway and somebody comes out where the door, especially close to the footpath, and just steps in. An old person or even a not so old person could be hit. Now there's no insurance, so if you get hit, you have to sue the young fella. Now there's nothing in the Act about the Insurance Bureau. Under the existing law, if you're hit with a mechanically propelled vehicle and injured, not damage to your car, injured, your leg is broke, God forbid, touch wood, you can go after the medical bureau, the Bureau of Road Safety, which has a fee on all insurance, and you can claim of them, the Motor Insurance Bureau. It's up in Dublin, right? Do you understand that? This doesn't seem to apply there. It's not strictly a mechanically propelled vehicle, and it is a grey area. So if somebody is knocked down with one of these, you'd actually have to sue the lad driving it. That's who you'd have to go after. If he's negligent, I mean, if he runs into you, that's the law. But I'm not complaining about it. The way it is for cars and all that, you have to have insurance, a good thing too. And the insurance has to cover a certain amount of things. You can't have get-out clauses. And that protects the public then from being injured and all that. And it's a good system. So look, this is an attempt to get the thing sorted. I'm sure there'll be many amendments. It's a pity we couldn't have made submissions to it. It's hard to be everywhere. But that's the story. Give me a comment underneath now. I think I've given you, I hope I have, a rough idea. And that's what my channel's about, bringing information to you, not necessarily giving my own comment on it, so that you now know what the bill is. And if this goes through the Dáil and is passed and signed by the President, it will become the law. So give me a thumbs up for effort or a thumbs down, and we'll see you back for something else, and comment underneath whatever you think, right?